Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Dr. Rowena Winkler, and here we are with Revelations with Rowena. This is our second official episode. If you were able to join in last week, and if you haven't, no worries. It is on my Facebook page as well as on YouTube. So, what we're going to talk about today, as you can see from the title, is overcoming perfectionism. Last week, I did a tarot card pull in preparation for the live. I had no idea actually what I was going to talk about, and it really was reflective of my journey. Hey, Alicia, nice to see you. Today, and actually over the course of the next several weeks, I'm going to take those specific cards and dive a little deeper into my interpretation behind that, how that ties into my journey, and talk about the card in more detail, as well as maybe bring in some special guests to get things in dialogue and moving. But feel free to use the comments, and if you have any questions, I am all for it. So, perfectionism. As a lot of you know, I am an immigrant child. My parents came to the United States from the Philippines, and they came here to provide my older sister and I a life here in America, right? My parents worked very hard to bring us here, to provide for us. They worked so hard. Hi, Amy Lee. Good to see you. And we weren't poor, and we were middle class living in suburbia New Jersey. And right out of the gate, there was an intense pressure to perform, especially academically. Now, I'm sure if there are other Asian American friends out there who will be watching in this, or who are watching this right now, you can understand what that pressure is like from a cultural standpoint. And so, growing up, I essentially believed that I had to be perfect. A story that I told, and I have told recently, is in second grade, I think. I came home with a 97, and my father asked why it wasn't a 100. And so from a very early age, I had this idea that anything less than perfection, anything less than that 100% was unacceptable. And so this sparked years, literally decades of me having to go outside of myself to get all this external validation that I'm enough, that I can achieve all of these things, right? So some of you have visited my parents' house in New Jersey. On the wall in our family room is a wall stock full of awards, and I know my sister Maria was going to try to tune in, but it's all these theater awards and all these academic awards and all these certificates. It's all there in its glory, question mark, on the wall in my parents' home. I felt that I had to get all those awards. I felt that I had to perform flawlessly in all of my academics, which in a positive sense drove me on this academic track, right? I got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and my PhD in less than 10 years. Hi, Sheena. Good to see you. Less than 10 years. That's pretty bananas. Knowing I have friends who have taken over 10 years to get their doctorate, your girl got it in 3. And I'm not here to boast or brag about it. That's just how I felt I could be accepted in this world. Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, that drive. So real. I felt that the only way I could be deemed worthy by my parents was to get all of those degrees. But here's the thing, friends. It still wasn't enough. I still felt empty inside. I still felt that I wasn't fulfilled, even though I was getting all the awards. And obviously, in the moment, yay, hooray, it was great to win the award for XYZ thing, but something was still missing. I was still chasing this perfectionism and this love and worthiness from my parents because at the end of the day, even though my mother did share my achievements, there was a time, and I'll never forget this. We went to a doctor's appointment together. And when the doctor said, "Oh, your daughter has a PhD," my mother said, "But she's not a real doctor." And I know that it wasn't intentional to be hurtful, but how do you think that feels to be told, "Well, she's not a real doctor. She just, hustled and wrote her dissertation in a year, 300 pages worth of research, but not a real doctor," right? And so it was this constant grind of feeling like no matter what I did, it wasn't going to be good enough. It wasn't going to be the ideal, perfect daughter, perfect student, perfect professor, perfect woman, perfect whatever for anyone. And finally, I had to tap in deep within myself, as I'm sure so many of you have done. This is recorded, you know, a year post COVID-19 and pandemic. We had to go inward into this internal retreat within ourselves and say, when we can't go outside, when we can't, meet with people, when we can't do these external things as easily, what's left? What's left? It's just us. It's just me. And I had come to the realization through many of the folks who are on this, listening in, thank you, friends, that I have it. I have everything I need to be successful. I can be perfect in my imperfections. I can be rough around the edges, and that's okay because that makes me who I am. The Jersey girl comes out and it's fun. Stern Professor Rowena needs to come out. That's okay. Silly performer Rowena wants to share. That's cool too because it's me. It's me in my authenticity. It's me in my power. It's me in my drive. It's me who I am, rough edges and all. That's the realization I had made recently. And by overcoming that perfectionism, by overcoming this idea that I had to look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way, perform a certain way, y'all, that's when the people started coming. That's when people started to see me for me and realize, oh shit, she's got something to offer. She's got something to give. I don't need to prescribe myself in these little boxes. Your girl's gonna go outside the boxes, and that's fine. That's okay because I'm staying true to myself. And at the end of the day, that's what's most important, y'all. Am I right? So, yeah, just starting off with that. Your girl got hype, preaching a little bit. I hope you're here for it, but that's what I'm coming to realize that if I just submit and surrender and live in the moment and stop ruminating. Who here is a ruminator? Who else has anxiety like me and is always constantly thinking of what people will say, what people will think, will people judge me? That has been my life for so many years and I'm sick of it. I'm done with it because I've realized in those moments that I've been vulnerable, that's when people come to me from the woodwork and tell me that I've been powerful, that I have helped them, that I have impacted them by telling my stories of my imperfection. That's when I had the perfect response, which is, Rowena, here you are in your truth. So that's what it's all about, right? It's about that submission. It's about that surrender to the universe, to source, to God, to whoever you are, claiming to be your higher power. My heart is so open. I feel like I'm so open to receive right now. And that's where the magic comes in, friends. Yeah, I see you, Alicia. I know. Ruminators unite. That's where the magic comes in, friends. So, what does this mean? Let me pull in the card because I think that's going to help illustrate this. I know if I wasn't sitting on this comfy chaise lounge, I would jump up and down too, Amy Lee. All right. So here we are. This is the card I pulled last time, the Magician. Hello, hello, hello. Again, this is Next World Tarot by Christy C. Rode. Check her out. Beautiful illustrations, very social justice oriented deck, which is what drew me to it. I got it from Lindsay Mack's Tarot for the Soul course. So just shouting out my teachers and guides. Okay. So the magician is, as you see, tied to Virgo. I don't know if we have any Virgo friends that are watching or any Virgo friends that will watch this at some point. Feel free to reach out if you are. But when you think of Virgos, Virgos are tied to that perfectionism. Virgos are very structured by nature. They want things done in a certain way. They are super organized. They get it done. But with that, there's some issues in regards to that flexibility. And so I felt like this energy with this card was perfect for this discussion about perfectionism and how to overcome that perfectionism. Oh, Virgo moon, Amy Lee. Yeah. We can chat about that. Um, and so with that Virgo energy in the magician is what got me through all of that, right? Which got me those degrees in that period of time, which got me the awards, which it embodies Mercury, which for those of you familiar, Mercury is the planet of communication, of writing, of speech. Y'all, I have a PhD in communication, you know? That's my area of expertise. So I was able to use these gifts to receive these degrees. But then that's where I think things kind of got a little you know, mucky. Is that the right word? I was so tied to that refined communication that I was getting in my own way. I've taught public speaking for many years. I taught public speaking at corporations, in classrooms, and I mentioned this in an Instagram post a little bit ago, but when I took public speaking as an undergrad, I hated it because I had to step into that classroom in front of my peers and talk as Rowena. Performer Rowena has no issue going on stage, singing and dancing and, using a script in front of hundreds of people. But when as Rowena, had to go on stage to give a speech on whatever XYZ persuasive topic that I had to give when I was an undergrad, it humbled me. And I said, why can't I do this? It's because I was doing that rumination thing. I was trying to be too perfect. I was looking at the index cards knowing that I was messing it up because I wasn't getting XYZ bullet point correct. And now here we are. I have my notes, but y'all, that first bit where I got hype and went to church, that all came from source, from my spirit. That all was message that I want to share with all of you and that you can overcome that perfectionism too. Trust me. Rowena had years of that because I was so focused on the expectations of other people. My husband, Derek, for so long told me to recognize managing those expectations because that's how I always got disappointed. Because, y'all, I was trying to get that perfectionism out of other people too. That was the expectation. Why isn't my boss or my colleague doing this thing? Why isn't my friend acting in this way? Why isn't my partner acting in this way? Hello. As humans, we're not mind readers, unless you're a psychic or whatnot. But, in terms of interpersonal communication, we can't read each other's minds and we can't have expectations of perfectionism and project that out to other people because that's not fair. And so it was that same thing. I had to settle and realize that people are showing up as they are, and that's okay. We're here on this planet to, discover who that person is, who I am, who I'm supposed to be. And as someone who's exploring that, it's kind of fun. I'll be honest. It's pretty cool. There's like all these, I don't even know, these aha moments. And similarly, when I get those with my clients, whether it's an astrology reading, whether it's through my coaching, when those aha moments come to light, y'all, it fills up. It like lights me up. I'm a catalyst coach after all, cosmic catalyst coach. So let's get back to the cosmic piece. I digress. Magician. So the magician as a card is that invitation, that that call to create. It is it is the universe holding out its hand, God, source, come holding out the hands to you and saying, "Hey, step into this. You have it. You have it, girl. You have it, sis. You have it, friend. You have what you need to create that magic." And that magic can be whatever you feel called to. So at the time, the magic for me was getting that dissertation done. My my dissertation defense anniversary is coming up on Saturday. I plan to post about it on Instagram, so keep an eye out. 8 years ago, I defended my dissertation, and even though I'm no longer in academia, I still think it is one of the best days of my life. To be able to work and grind and write and do the research and be that was another moment where I felt so in my element. I sat in front of my committee and I was like, I got this. I was so confident. I mean, listen, if you spend Alicia knows, when you write that dissertation, you know it frontwards, backwards. You spend so much time with it. You're dreaming about it. You're waking up in an anxious sweat about it. But yeah, that was a moment where I knew what I was doing. That was magical. As I mentioned, another time when I feel magic and I'm in my moment is when I'm performing, which I was just having a conversation with a fellow theater friend. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me go. Yes, Alicia. It literally is your baby. I think there was someone on, I don't know. I saw an article of someone that did a photo shoot, like one of those like newborn baby shoots, but it was with her dissertation. I thought that was amazing. If I find it, I can put it in a comment later. But I it really does feel, yeah, it literally is it's your baby. But whereas going back to the theater piece, I was just talking to a friend about this tension, right? Folks are getting vaccinated, places are opening up again, and us performers who long to be on stages in person. As someone who's an empath and a performer, I love feeling the energy of an audience when I'm performing. But then there's this like, it's not safe yet. Is it safe? I don't know. But we just want to be there like that. I miss that, y'all. I miss that so much. And I know that COVID silver lining, I didn't have extreme FOMO because I knew I was going to have to take time off with my baby. I knew I wouldn't be able to perform in shows and figure out parenting in this first year. But man, oh man, I miss it because that's another moment. My therapist says that my performing is like meditation for me. It's a way to be, I'm so mindful and I'm so in the zone. And I know when I'm on stage, I don't even think about what's happening. I don't even think about like what so and so said yesterday on XYZ social media channel. I don't know. That's the magic too. And that edge of the perfectionism, right? Like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my performing because y'all live theater, it's like anything happens. And that's the beauty of it because it really does keep us on our toes. But the process is just so collaborative, man. It's like, I mean, it's kind of similar with the dissertation, right? It's wow, I just have made that connection. It is because there's this collaboration, this effort. You work so hard, you have this project, and then here comes opening night. The curtain goes up, and here we go. And then every night after, it's different. So that's how I've been channeling my passion, my motivation, my drive, my propensity for perfectionism by showing up in these theater roles. And hopefully we can get to the point where um, I can get on stage again. But in the meantime, if you're interested, I got some fun exercises to help you, unlock and tap into that. So, I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking at my notes. I get all excited and then I'm like, wait, what am I saying? Something I wrote down. The polish was hindering my process and my progress. The polish was hindering my process and my progress because I was so focused on like making it so shiny, so perfect, so looking a certain way that I was like using the veneer. Is that what it's called? Clearly, I don't polish things. I was using the Windex. I don't know. Maybe that's more relevant. The wipe, the disinfectant wipe, that I didn't even recognize what that was anymore. I didn't even recognize who this person was because it was like robot Rowena. You know what I mean? Like beep boop bop. I'm gonna say this thing. It wasn't me. So in my experience of leaving academia and you know becoming a mom, because for the mamas out there, we all know you can't really control a lot of that. There is a lot of improv in parenting because things come up that you're like, what? I did not, that wasn't in the book. What is happening? And now in launching this coaching business, I can't keep, using my disinfectant wipe and trying to polish because then nothing's going to get done. I have so many ideas. I want to write a book. I want to speak on stages, but I'm so focusing so hard on the perfect pitch or the perfect, I don't even know, the perfect look, the perfect XYZ thing, that instead of getting it done, getting the shit done to make it to the next step, to get to the next level, to get those clients, to get those stages, to get that book, y'all, it's just sitting as drafts. It's just sitting as ideas on my note. So that polish was preventing, it was hindering it. So despite that perfectionism polish, having your Capricorn rising girl hustling and getting it done, I need to take a step back. We all need to take a step back. I know, Amy Lee, right? And that's the other thing too, right? I'm sure a lot of folks on here can relate to that. Sometimes when you are that perfectionist, you just want to do all the things, you know? You're so afraid to ask for help. You're so afraid to admit weakness. You're so afraid to not do all the things if you're a control freak as well, right? But here's the thing, by investing in people who can help you and uplift you and amplify you and fill in those gaps and save you that time, right? Like I can do a lot of these things, but why am I going to waste my time when I can just do fun things like this and leave it to the experts to do the other stuff? You got to have the team, you got to have the tribe. That's another thing we've learned in COVID, right? It's that community. I know a lot of folks who have actually lost friends during this time because when the going gets tough, then you see who the real friends are, who are the real folks that are going to step up for you and have your back. And that's okay. That's okay. That's something too that's been holding me back. What if they don't like me? Ooh, like what if I rub them the wrong way? Okay, that's fine. You're not feeling it? That's fine. Because I know other people who do and who will. Clearly, I mean, there's people commenting here, so I must be saying something that resonates. So yeah, I'm here for it. It's just unlocking that. It's being true. It's being okay. There was actually a clubhouse room. I have a club called the Entrepreneurs Lounge in Clubhouse, where a couple weeks ago we talked about this notion of failing up, right? That failure is not fatal because for a perfectionist, for a recovering perfectionist, failure seemed fatal. Like, oh noes. But that's not it's not true. One of the podcasts I like to listen to is How I Built This by Guy Raz on NPR. And he talks about these stories of these very successful business people, right? You know, and the stories gives you so much perspective because, you know, companies like Southwest or Spanx or Whole Foods, these companies just didn't magically become the successes that they are. There were failures along the way that a lot of us don't know about, that I love Guy Raz for uncovering it, because that's part of the journey. Everyone else sees that shiny, like, social media post or the shiny aftermath or, whenever that time comes, because it will come, y'all, when Rowena is on those bigger stages, everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa." But listen, we're gonna come back to this video on what? April 15th, 2021, and hear me say, it's been a journey. It's okay to have these failures because if anything, they're lessons learned. It's about that reframing. As a communication scholar, I'm all for it. I put that on my husband all the time, like, maybe you should reframe that because that message isn't going well. Love you, Derek. It's about that reframing. It's not failure. It's not a setback. Take it as a lesson learned. Take that learning from that challenging time. And then I assure you, you're going to look back on that time years from now and be like, oh, damn, wait a second. That had to happen because it led to this, because it led to this, because it led to this. And now here I am in my fulfillment and glory and high vibe or what have you. So be open, as I said, surrender, have that communication Mercury energy to help you unlock and speak your truth. Have those systems in place, that tribe, that support system, that the folks, your team to uplift you and fill in those gaps. And above all, especially if you're an empath, if you're a light worker, a someone who wants to help, have that heart of service. 'Cause that's what it's all about, for me at least, is in everything I've done in my journey of getting to this moment, it all came down to me wanting to help and wanting to make an impact and wanting to serve. That's the magic right there. So I'm gonna wrap it up a bit. Thank you for all of those folks and friends who chimed in, tuned in, watched. me explore this area, this topic with you. Next week is very special. If you're available on April 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will have a special guest with me. My PhD advisee from Virginia Commonwealth University, Dr. Candace Parrish, will be joining me here. And we're going to be talking about something I feel like a lot of folks, especially recently, have asked me about, which is from an academic's perspective, how to translate that CV. The revelation that, oh, wait a second, I actually have a skill set that's employable for industries outside of academia. So that's what we have coming up next week. If you're interested, feel free to DM me, email me, message me, and I can send you that information. Otherwise, I hope that you all take care of yourselves, your spirit, and your cosmic spark. I'm Dr. Rowena Winkler, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much.